Answers of an Alien from Andromeda, Video 134, June 25, 2015. Sorry again for the absence, we are coming and going out of the solar system for other missions. Hi friends, here is a CB observation. Arthur, the Pleiadian from Taos, told me during our last contact that was intercepted a message that they are checking out, saying that if no response in the probe contact attempts with some sign of civilization in series, they can release a small EMP warhead to detonate on the lights of the planet to see if they go out. Go out means that rely on some form of power generation to run, which denotes artificial technology and not a natural phenomena. A pathetic initiative to the extreme. The Aldebaran base has been warned, and if this occurs, the probe will be destroyed as soon as it launched the apparatus, and the probe approaching Pluto will also be detonated immediately and summarily. Mythy, many people are complaining about lack of memory, loss of concentration and sense of mental fatigue. This is linked to the bombing of the sun or some other factor? No, the sun has nothing to do with it. In the case of you here on this planet and in this stage, states such as Alzheimer and mental stress are created by some key factors such as lack of consumption of animal proteins such as fats, egg yolks and cheese that help in increasing the binding elements and neurons recovery, that are required forms of cholesterol. Also foods containing physitin, which is obtained from various fresh fruit, oil seeds and nuts, which also provide antioxidant, and a regular use of caffeine as a stimulant for neuron molecular activity. Never take medicine to reduce cholesterol levels, as this is a myth created erroneously in determining brain scrap. In case happens one sudden interruption of transmission of high levels of radiation of thousands of antennas that you guys use in your current technology, many of you will feel an incredible improvement in the contemplative power and mental concentration. It is no coincidence that your ancient monasteries were built in remote areas and mountaintops. They were instructed to stay as far as possible to the progress that would arise in these times. Mythy, in the coming starvation passage for humanity, a part material prepares. Do you know any methods to induce low metabolic consumption for our breed type you could advise? In extreme cases of survival, the concern should be getting animal proteins such as fish, eggs, poultry, or the like, salt, sugar or fructose and clean water. Sugars can also be obtained by metabolizing grains. These are the main points for survival for long periods, consuming little but needed to maintain body functions on alert. As an example, your ancient mariners passing time up to 10 months on board without having ports to renew provisions, they took meats and fish, dried and candied fruits, animal fat for cooking, salt, honey and plenty of clean water. Well, I forgot to mention alcoholic beverages, of course, that had the effect of relaxing the mood of the crew during the boring crossings, which is not the case of you, I presume. Mythy, many are wondering about the month of September. There have been dozens of predictions that will be the critical month of this year, when should happen events that affected the planet's population. What can you tease about it? You see, the general consensus is not always valid, but many of you are feeling something in the air. As always, the fatalistic desire that these events happen. The Pleiades sources report that the elites are planning their deadline for total reset of the planet's economy through various events during this year, reports that are in the knowledge of CG. Possibly they choose the September month that seems to symbolize something for them. Thy great religious entities are synchronized with your elites as a facade tool to prepare the followers to new revelations for the purpose of social imbalance. As I said earlier, many explosives were installed at strategic points to simulate a catastrophic event at any time. For this reason I ask is that you guys observe the movements of your governments and your elites, who seem to be tapering actions for the final 4 months of this year. Realize that your governments are on the verge of total destabilization. People are realizing every day more manipulation and impunity of corruption. The time of your elites, including religious, fall into complete discredit is very near to happen globally. They intend to fight back the discredit and general revolt with military force they have in their hands, but not all military will fill orders for extermination of fellow citizens. We make sure that the colony of Earth will know to deal with it to the point of our intervention. When your elites are no longer seen in palaces, wait for events created by them especially for you. Mythi. It has been reported that the water table is dropping all over the world. NASA warns we're on the path to global drought. Is this the result of the Earth expanding 5%? Will the CG help us during this global event? Understand that the water that is lacking in some areas of the globe is causing disasters and flooding in other areas. The water is not disappearing into the subterranean layers. It is rather erratically being distributed across the planet. The atmospheric manipulation promoted by your government with the help of your degenerate scientific community and funded by your elites with your money rates and taxes, is causing an atmospheric imbalance across the globe in order to destabilize populations, causing masses to depend increasingly on solutions imposed by their governments. The HAARP system is being used at full power to cause failures in the geomagnetic field of the planet, warming up entire regions, causing the freshwater radical evaporation so that these regions can be easily controlled. One reason to spread aluminum particles by aircraft over various regions is to cause a tuning effect, serving operational reference for a HAARP station interact with the adjacent, and so make adjustments to the geographic locations where the consequence should be caused. The frequency emitted by HAARP stations bounce off the ionosphere and bounce back to the surface, like a billiard ball, but has the effect of deviations caused by the attempt of the magnetic field caused correct the fault, and it needs adjustments because the angles of folding are dynamic. Some HAARP mobile units are being put in place since last year to assist in targeting capacity of the main stations involved in those regions. Mythi. You talked about the history of many nations, but do you know anything about ancient caves in the Carpathian Mountains, in Romania? There are records and recent findings alleging that some ancient ones are protecting the entrances to these caves. Approximately 13,000 years ago, the Aten scientists maintained a base in these mountains with a laboratory for studies of genome and DNA breeds of humans and animals. These facilities were used until 12,000 years ago when the Saxis civilization was removed from planet to another settlement. I believe there is already mentioned, but biomechanical bodies were left in these and other laboratories to prevent unauthorized access, and how they are programmed molecularly regenerate itself and remain in operation today. Mythi. Through our geographical satellites we can easily find wide lines and grouping constructs beneath our oceans, some at great depths. Are these alien bases, military bases, or lost cities like Lemuria, Atlantis? Yes, there are many large bases where many civilizations have settled for studies on the planet. There are also large urban areas of cities of ancient civilizations, older than the great civilizations of Lemuria, Atlantis or Brazilus. Larger cities than your largest one existing today. The history of this planet is long, impossible to illustrate in some chat time. Large machinery worked on the ocean floor, by mining and searching for the miners of chem. Many Arthurian bases and other breeds brought and adapted this planet hundreds of species of fish in the ocean when it became ready to receive them. There are thousands of hours of information about your planet catalogued and recorded in the annals of CG, courtesy of the probes and satellites of Epsilon Boots who already recorded many thousands of years of your history. Friends, you will notice many changes happening in your Sun and all the planets and moons of the system because the large rearrangement is fully underway. The Sun is being recalibrated by crew lines to return to the normal rules of operation in the new frequency, with an enhanced geomagnetic field. Every day that passes, the more you guys will watch over the presence of spacecraft and strange atmospheric effects. Whenever the tension manifests itself in the aura of the planet, many units of different origins will be watching and waiting for the opportunity to intervene. You who are reading these words will be those who will provide help and not those who will ask. Be always prepared psychologically to adapt to any new situation that appears. Continue objectively observing the events and steps of your governments, because behind them will be thy elites trying to filter the society in their own way. Be well all of you, mine friends.